TriMin's Workflow Integration Optimizer empowers your team to seamlessly organize and manage processes across your ERP system. With intelligent automation, tasks are routed to the right people at the right time, keeping your operations efficient and your team connected, even when they're on the move. We developed a IDF framework that sits over Ion workflow functionality to track and log every step of the process for traceability, with full visibility into every workflow event. Who's involved, what's happening, why it matters, and when it occurs. This provides you the insight needed to make smarter, faster decisions. Ensure consistent quality and compliance by maintaining procedural standards that reduce the risk of errors, fraud, and regulatory issues. Every step is tracked, creating a transparent and accountable process that supports your business integrity. Many organizations face complex business scenarios that require them to evade internal fraud or meet regulatory requirements. TriMin's Workflow Optimizer provides the functionality to implement processes to prevent additional transactions from happening while an existing workflow is in process, as well as systematically react to a workflow response. For example, if a customer order is changed to a price book that has lower prices, and a workflow is invoked that requires approval from upper management and that workflow is rejected. Behind the scenes, based on the rejection response, the order's price book is reverted back to its original value. Any new orders that were placed while the workflow was being processed are placed on hold, and the line items on the order are then repriced to the original price book. We also prevent an initiator from approving their own workflow transactions. Our smart data tracking captures the values of the data before and after a workflow event occurs, so that we can systematically adapt to responses, ensuring your data integrity. TriMin provides a seamless integration, directly connecting to IDF edits that allow us to clearly communicate to end users when workflows are initiated. This communication keeps everyone across the organization informed and aligned. We are able to clearly communicate to end users when workflows are initiated, efficiently send communication to groups or individuals for workflow approvals. Workflows can have multiple levels of approvals and/or have due dates and escalations assigned to them, keeping the flow of communication and processes moving efficiently across the organization. With intelligent automation in place, tasks are routed to the right people at the right time, keeping your operations efficient and your team connected, even when they're on the move. Any IDF business object that allows for an IDF user exit can kick off a workflow, bringing endless opportunities and seamless integration, giving you the flexibility to scale and adapt to your business needs. Examples where workflow could help you. Purchase order. If a purchase order is for a specific department, item, vendor, or a certain amount, it may require approval. Engineering. Item setup could be across many different departments in the organization. Workflow can expedite and systematically communicate the process for the item setup to each department until all setup is complete, with a final approval releasing the item for orders. Customer price book. Changing the customer's price book base prices can affect existing and/or new orders. A workflow with approval can determine if the orders need to be repriced based on the workflow response. Freight on an order. Orders set up for free freight may require approval. Order pricing. Overriding a price of an item on an order may need to be approved. This could be set up by a variance, percentage, or any override at all. Let's do a demo of an inventory adjustment transaction. First, we will go into item locations and select an item to do an IA transaction. Because we are doing a transaction that results in an amount over $1,000, we receive a message that the transaction will be put into workflow. At this point, the transaction is queued up but has not been executed and will not be until the workflow request is responded to. Let's check TriMin's workflow tracking history to see if the workflow was invoked. We see a new record here for our IA transaction. When drilling into the record, we can see all of the details. Once the workflow transaction is invoked, it will send out an email to the people who are in the group tied to the specific workflow that have the ability to review and approve or reject the transaction. They will receive an email via Outlook. All of the details are included in the email. They can reply directly from this email if needed. In addition to the email, the user will get a notification in their Ion inbox. When opening the request in Ion, they will assign it to either themselves or someone else. This is to prevent multiple people from working on the same request. It will remove it from the unassigned people's Ion inbox. The user has the ability from the message to click on the drill back and it will bring them directly into the record in XA to review. They will see all of the details to help them make their decision. Clicking back to the inbox, the user will enter a comment for the initiator to see when they approve or reject the transaction. This will remove it from the inbox. Now that the workflow has been responded to with an approval, let's go back into XA and check the TriMin workflow tracking history. We can see our transaction now has a response of approved. When we drill into the transaction, we can see who responded to the message, what the response was, the date and time it occurred, and the comment that was entered. Now let's check inventory transaction history to see if our transaction posted. We can see our record at the top of the list. That shows this workflow is complete. For this demonstration, a customer order requires a change in its payment terms. This will invoke a workflow to request approval of the changes. We've changed the terms to a new value and updated the customer order. In addition to starting a workflow, this will put the order on hold, which will prevent shipping the order until the workflow has been resolved. We can see that the workflow tracking history table now has a record with a tracking number associated to the changed customer order. The members of the approval group will receive a detail-rich email in Outlook. An approval decision could be made from the email, but it is better to use the Ion inbox. From Ion, we can see the message in the inbox. We can also see the list of other candidates to perform the approval. It's best to assign the task, as that will remove the task from the inbox of the other potential approvers. The paper clip represents a drill back, which is a link back to the customer order. The approver can examine other information here to help inform the decision to approve or reject the changed terms. Back in Ion, providing a short comment, especially if rejecting the change, will be useful for communicating back to the person who performed the change to the customer order terms. We have approved the changes to the terms. The task is now removed from the Ion inbox. In XA, the tracking history record has been updated with the response, the timestamp, the approver, and the comments provided. Now we will demonstrate a change of customer order terms that will be rejected in the workflow. We have changed the terms for customer order 428. The order will go on hold and invoke a workflow. We can see the workflow tracking number in the workflow tracking history. Again, the members of the approval group have received an email in Outlook with the details of the customer order changes. We will go into the Ion inbox to take action on the workflow. A filter has been applied to the inbox to only show today's messages. Assign the task to yourself and click on the drill back to review details of the order. Provide a short comment, and this time we will click the reject button. In XA, the workflow tracking history has been updated with the user, timestamp, response, and comments. The payment terms for customer order 428 have reverted back to the value prior to the changes, and the order has been released from the hold. This ends the demonstration of the customer order terms workflow. We hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you are interested in learning more or seeing additional live demos, please contact Sarah McKay at TriMin Systems. We look forward to working with you on all your workflow needs.